Have you seen Queen's Gambit? In a high-stake game of chess, are you gambling your move or doing a calculated decision to win? Today, we will be presenting a strategy that will turn your conference experience from a series of random encounters to a calculated campaign for business growth.
Welcome to Provider's Edge, the podcast that helps healthcare entrepreneurs and innovators break down barriers and control their business, life, and future with valuable action steps. With me, your host, Sabrina Runbeck, a recovered clinician and a business deal catalyst. Let's rewrite the rules and create a positive social impact while increasing your profitability.
Conferences are always really fun for us in healthcare. Often we go to medical conferences, industry conferences, innovation conferences. However, sometimes it can feel like we meet so many people, we forgot about who they are. And then at other time, it also feels like that we are able to be immersed in a conference, but talking to no one that actually can help us to grow individually and grow our whole organization and our own company. So what's the best way to prepare for a conference, be able to stand out during a conference, and also make sure that we continue the conversation with the right people after the conference? That's what we are here to talk about today. So thank you so much, Shauna, for joining us. Give us a little rundown in who you are and how you are supporting healthcare leaders and founders.
Absolutely. Thanks, Sabrina. And it's a pleasure to be here. My role within the company Pulse Point Path is the intuitive navigator to basically help bring the team into alignment and harmonization with one another to make sure that our team continues moving forward and having momentum, and to just smooth out that path as we're growing and building things together. And so I'm happy to be here, share my insights on making meaningful and purposeful connection and knowing who the right people are to re-engage with.
Yeah, in any type of engagement, we always know that it's about relationship at the end of the day. Is who do you speak to? And are these people that you're speaking to are the right people in your sphere that you should be bringing on? And so what we also talk about is that empowered ecosystem. And at some time, because there are so many people out there that we can meet online, meet in person, when we do make the meaningful connection, we also don't want to lose them. So let's talk about conference, because a lot of people do go to these conferences and sometimes you pay thousands of dollars to even attend. And we need to make sure you get the most out of each event. So I would say, let's break it down into 3 phases: the pre-conference preparation, how to stand out during conference, and how to not lost to follow up. So let's begin into the pre-conference preparation phase. Now, even for us, we attend many conferences as media press or as consultants to help different startups, companies, and with great solutions, or even represent for them as well. Now, Shauna and I have a strategy to really figure things out instead of, oh my goodness, there are thousands of people registered. What do we do about it, right? And then we actually, number one, is start screening the list. Shauna, do you want to break down a little bit about what are we looking for and how do we looking for things as we prepare for a conference?
Yes, the screening is definitely an important phase to really prepare you. A lot of people will show up reactively to a conference, and they might have even some kind of more self-centered goals of like, I'm here for people to see me. But when you pre-screen the attendants, the investors, the sponsors, we have our whole system that we go through. But when you're looking for who is going to be at this event and why are they going to be there, that really helps you better prepare yourself, your message, and also seek out those meaningful connections when you get there. Sometimes it's even helpful to make some of those connections before going so that you have some friendly faces once you get to the conference as well.
Exactly. And sometimes it just, you'll be surprised that the people that you know actually are at the conference. And sometimes it's that, hey, I have tried to reach out, right? And reach out can be in many different ways. You can message people on LinkedIn and have different scripts written down to say, actually having a personal conversation. Maybe you check out their last LinkedIn post on what they actually wrote about. So you can make those introduction, actually have a meaningful engagement to introduce your opinion, your ideas, whether you support them or not, and then request a personal connection, then drop them a message. Or simply because many conferences has connection platform, you can message them internally through the platform, or people would have listed their emails on there, then feel free to send them an email. Actually be curious about who they are, what opportunity you think you can create, and do the ask. Make sure you ask them if they would like to have a call or a meetup, grab coffee while you're at the conference. What other suggestions you would say, Shana, once you screen the list to prepare?
What's helpful is to, once again, come in with that mindset of why are these other people, other companies showing up here? So when you're really looking for meaningful connection, you're looking for missions that come into alignment with one another. So you're looking for, going a layer deeper and looking at those mission statements for those people, for those companies, reading the keys out of their bio that help tell you what's important to them, and really seeing how are you all building something bigger together? What is the bigger mission that you're all coming together to support? Looking for those kinds of connections can be really powerful to, further each of your own goals, but also start building, as we've talked about, that empowered ecosystem, right? When you're looking for those partners who are out there with that same passion on their minds, and you're starting to connect with those people, it's just very powerful. And I just love the way that feels to visualize that and to know we're coming to the conference for a reason. A lot of people might not have even thought about that. They just registered and they don't think about it again until they show up. But when you stop to look at the purpose behind every choice that you're making and where you're putting your time, attention, and energy, it can be very powerful to see that all you need, all the resources that you need for your mission and your purpose are showing up in every space that you're choosing to be in. So look for them proactively.
Yes, look for them proactively is the key in feeling each person out, each company out. And a lot of you guys are in that B2B space, and sometimes you have businesses in B2B2C. So it's also crucial to look at the organization, the executive who you speak to, who are they individually, as well as who they are part of the organization. And on top of that, how are you creating a potential benefit on both sides? And sometimes you can be like, whoa, Sabrina, Shauna, this seems like a lot of work. Now, it can be. How do we usually do it? Is asking our assistants to start looking through the list of things that we already feel like these are the things and type of company we like to. And then please then go to their website, look at their LinkedIn profile so we can pre-screen them. And the people that we believe have similar alignment or people that we think we can actually support them, then we, of course, making the outreach is not so much about reaching out to everybody. It's not just a numbers game. It's quality at the core of how you want to reach out. So now let's move on to when you're actually attending the event. Everyone can be all over the place. Sometimes even you make appointment, people are late because they're perhaps engaged in a great conversation and then you forget. So one of the tips we always have is when you make an appointment, make sure you actually book them in your own CRM system so they can get the text message or email reminder about the right locations, or they have a way to contact you, text you back, email you that sometimes things change, right? So you guys can reschedule or only a 5 minute late or push the meeting a little earlier to have a way to actually have a contingency, not losing the amazing work that you had in the beginning. What other tips, Shauna, would you suggest, other ways to make the best experience and stand out?
So then one of the other things you can do is come with that connection that they're going to take away remembering, right? So one of the things we've talked about is you have a podcast for purposeful connection. So if you meet people at the conferences, you can invite them to be a guest on the podcast, and this continues that relationship. If you don't have a podcast, you have something that you want to be bringing to the conference, some kind of free lead magnet or some kind of connection that they can take part of it that will keep the interaction going. So make sure that you have planned for and set up and prepared something like that that makes it easy to keep re-engaging and a simple follow-up.
Yes, having some type of purposeful work together. So even you don't have a podcast like ours, perhaps you are running a mini series of webinar, you have a panel discussion, and or just simply that you are engaging on certain type of smaller scale project that you feel like they will be a good fit. And all of us know if you have a website and wanted to increase your domain authority, you need to blog. So have some kind of different type of theme that you can interview them for a blog that can be published on their website that can also make them feel value, appreciate as a subject matter expert. And at the same time, not only you learn something, you creating the right content that people actually want to learn about, and then creating a strategy that have additional information to then spread the message across. And then when every time that you post these content, you can tag that person and you can share about your work that you have featured them. There's more reason that you can engage with them. And that go even into your follow-up strategy of not losing the people that you had such amazing connection and conversation and see potential of building something together after the conference. Now, another tip that we have is about having some type of mixer that you host at the conference. It doesn't have to be a significant thing. It can just be at your booth or a specific location that you bring a group of people together. Now, you also is in a giving state to say, hey, I'm having this mixer, bring the right people together. There's a theme about it. So then you even bring in more people to this and they will see you as an authority in that space. So Shauna, do you want to elaborate on that idea as well?
Yeah, I think that's a fantastic idea to have. Obviously, if people are gathering at a conference, then these are people who know the power of bursting and getting around other people and making those personal connections. And so hosting something where they can come in and further those connections is really great when you have that small kind of breakout session that is just a way to deeper connect at the bigger, overwhelming conference. Then it's going to be a really great experience for everybody involved, and something that you could even continue planning as you move forward. And maybe this is a conference everybody attends every year. And so your breakout session becomes something they really look forward to enjoying each time.
Exactly. It doesn't have to be a major thing that you have to get approval from even the organizer, because you're taking your own time, effort, and thought to put some of the right people together. And this breakout session, whether you do it at your own booth, it could be as simple as having some coffee and tea just to get people together for a breakfast session. And then, or at the end of the day, most people will go to multiple different happy hour events. And if you think about the big JP Morgan conferences, the Vive and Health, which we usually go to, then people actually share those lists to everyone to say what's going on, who are we meeting, in what theme, right? And then they'll give people even more additional reason to attend your event. And if you don't want it to be drowned out by all the happy hour event, then doing something that is more so in breakfast, coffee time, or a lunchtime, and then even give people more of a different mindset to say, oh, there's the early thing, then you're not drowned by all these other competitive events that people get distracted at. Now, when we're thinking about continue on the conversation into follow up, we did mention if you have these additional events or podcast, blog, webinar, whatnot, that actually does really easy for you, or perhaps you have a virtual meetup every month. Now you start inviting them too. There are more reasons for you to be able to follow up and do that with them. What other suggestions, Shauna, you have as we wrap up today's session?
So the most important note that I would say is that we can get very caught up in always looking for new connections. And so this follow-up phase is actually very important. Follow-up is one of the best returns on our investment of time and energy because it's so simple and it's so impactful. You've already made that connection and you just need to foster it. And so one of the things that's helpful is to make some notes about the people that you've met. So when you go to follow up, you have something to reference. And that way it's an easier in for the conversation. The other thing is that you can set a milestone or a deadline of when you're going to follow up. But if something happens, as life does, don't tell yourself that it's too late. Oh, now it's been a week. Oh, that's going to be awkward. Oh, now it's been a month. That's even worse, right? Don't tell yourself that. It could be several months later and you could say, hey, I just was remembering back when we met at Vive, and it's never too late. Just try to have a follow-up routine already scheduled in your calendar to remind you to do it. Have those notes that you can easily go back and reference. But if none of that happens, because life does, then just give yourself that grace and go into it with a little bit of humor and still make those connections. Just do it.
Exactly. And this is actually something that we talk to many different companies about, even to the people who are expert in sales, that I have this conversation almost daily. I was just earlier talking to someone who represents multiple HealthTech solutions, and they are able to make the right connection. But just the same thing, they will have these amazing conversation, and then it's what's next, because people get so excited in the moment that they start forgetting, oh, I need to send you that deck. Oh, I needed to give you this resource. So one of the biggest strategy we help people to build out is when people have a conversation with you, depending on where they are, at what phase you think you can support them, whether it's refer them to a person or refer within your own resources, or they actually want to be a potential client, you need to make sure you book the next call. There are different email sequence that you already written and set it into your CRM system. Once you're able to log those persons' contact information in there, it will start automatically trigger these messages. So make sure you do spend some time to get those messages and emails set up. And then don't get so overwhelmed to meeting more and more people, because you're really losing the critical relationship that you already have built. So I know we can talk about this for a long time, and we so appreciate you guys that all the hard effort you put in, from hosting your own event or attending event, really trying to meet people, getting the good things in, and then for all the executives who are, hey, we want to have these amazing technologies, solutions, services for our patients, versus the service producers, you are trying to break into the big organization. It is a mutual win when you are able to present the the right way and build relationship and give yourself the grace to say, time will come and you need to be consistent and keep going. And we appreciate everyone for being here. Until next time.
Thank you for tuning in to Provider's Edge podcast. We hope you enjoy our latest episode and found the insights and tips helpful. We'd love to hear your feedback on the show and learn what topics you'd like us to cover in the future. So please take a moment to leave us a review on your favorite podcast platform and let us know what you think. Your feedback is essential to help us improve the show and provide you with the content you need to take your healthcare business to the next level. Thank you for your support, and we look forward to hearing from you soon.